All right, let me talk for more. But first, there is a short message that I want to convey to the world and Floris to you. I think that art should be egoistic. Please accept me as I am, be pushy, be Banksy, or better, if you dare. In terms of art and politics relationship, we have asked a question to our virtual expert, ChatGPT. Is art possible outside of politics? And here's what ChatGPT answered. Art and politics are interconnected in complex and multifaceted ways, but it is impossible for art to exist independently of politics. Here's an overview of the relationship between art and politics. Second, art as expression. Art often serves as a form of personal or collective expression, allowing artists to communicate emotions, thoughts, and ideas without direct political intent. Many artworks focus on universal themes, human experiences, and aesthetic exploration that transcend political boundaries. Apolitical art, meaning art without politicians and politics. There is a significant amount of art that deliberately avoids or minimizes political messages. Some artists may choose to create art purely for its aesthetic or creative value without engaging in political discourse. And in this discourse, I have a question for you, Floris. Your art and politics, of course war, of course Ukraine. I understand everything about that interconnection, but do you think that artists should be excluded from the political agenda? Absolutely. Is that even possible?
No, I think the moment you start as an artist and you start expressing yourself, whether you like it or not, you will be pushed into a certain side. Of course, depending on the topics that you work around, you will always be politicized, if I can say it like that. So it's in my opinion completely impossible to, especially when it comes to concept art, what I do, to stay apolitical. I think that's also a bit of the. I mean, like I think a couple of minutes you talked about ego and artist. Well, I agree that an artist has a certain ego in a way that he thinks that, in my case, that I like to think what I find important needs to be communicated to the world. That's why I make my art, and there will always be like a political part that will slip into it.
Exactly. So maybe this is the proper propaganda. This is the proper provocation. Maybe this is the antidote that we were looking for the Russian propaganda. ChatGPT makes is escapism and entertainment. Art can serve as a means of escapism, providing a break from political realities. Entertainment-focused art forms such as music, film, and literature often prioritize engaging and captivating audiences without necessarily delving into political issues. What you as an artist, probably when you were working with your wood, you also just find a way to escape some sort, an escapism from reality in good term, in good sense of a word. Is that right?
Can you please repeat the question?
My question was
that
the ChatGPT says that escapism is maybe one of the angles, and maybe the observer and the artist both use the art to escape from reality at some point, to go somewhere else, to have some time off it. Yeah. Do you do that?
Well, in a way, because I escaped my reality here in Brussels by visiting your reality in Kiev. Right. Do I do it because I want to escape my life in Brussels? No, that's not the reason. But I find it important if I work around certain topics such as the war in Ukraine. I think you cannot make a credible work of art from the safety of your studio, in my case here in Brussels. I think it's very important to go there where the situation is happening, the war is happening in this case. So it's not escapism in my case, but I think it's important when you have to when you want to be a credible artist and work around heavy topics as the war in Ukraine, it's important to, get your feet dirty and be there where the actual war is happening.
But can you imagine these guys, the men and women in trenches, and they use art for a good form of escapism? I'm not talking about, we are like a margin of that, but people are trying to escape the reality of war, the devastating reality of it, and they are using your art. And I absolutely know it, because I write myself, so I know that you forget about reality when you do your work. You're creating a new part of a reality as a creator. You're creating a new universe, and this is a good escapism. This is probably what ChatGPT meant.
Oh yeah. I mean, if art can make those brave soldiers in the trenches forget about the harsh life that they have to endure, then I support it. I mean, that's one of many things that art can do, can make you escape your reality, even if it's for a bit, by reading a book, by listening to a song. That's the power of art. So yeah.
There's more to it. Challenging norms. While not overtly political, some artworks challenge societal norms, conventions, and power structures indirectly. This can provoke thought and potentially contribute to broader discussions about social issues. Well, we already agreed on that. The provocation of art is very important. Art needs to provoke thoughts, maybe even riots at some point, to find justice. This is what I think. And I believe you agree with me, because you already answered that.
I couldn't agree more.
Thank you. So, symbolism and allegory. Artists might use symbolism, allegory, or metaphor to convey deeper meanings that resonate beyond specific political contexts. These elements allow for multiple layers of interpretation and can help make art more timeless. There's no way that we can both argue on that. It's very obvious. Art as a political tool, here we go. On the other hand, art has frequently been used as a powerful political tool throughout history. It can be employed to critique, challenge, or support political ideology, social movements, and cultural shifts. So, do you agree, Floris, that art without artist and observer is nothing? And it all depends on artist and observer, because in World War I, World War II, and now, it only depends how and who is using the powerful tool of art to convey its message to the world.
I agree that there's especially imagery. For example, the Nazis in Germany, they were very good in creating movies to celebrate the whole Nazi ideology. I also remember that the USSR, they had these very powerful looking visuals where you can see the workers of the world united. And it was, of course, very obvious that it was propaganda. But I think the important thing is that you have to be aware of that. You have to be aware that you're looking at a piece of propaganda. I think that's the most important thing.
I have one last question. If that would be up to you, what sort of art would you choose to... I'm only trying to speculate now. If you would have a chance to open eyes of the people in Russia, what form of art would you choose? What it would be?
To answer your question, I think people should stop, Russians especially should stop see Putin as this all-powerful, macho human being. And I think humor could be a good weapon against that. I mean, I would love to see some big Banksy types of art spray painted all over Moscow, basically, making fun of Putin. I think that should that could be a good start. But of course, the climate in Russia is that the moment that they would get you, you would be thrown into prison. So, yeah, it's something. It's such a complex situation. I'm not sure that there's like one question, but I would personally think that, like, when it comes to art, anything that would make fun of Putin and would try to show him not as the macho that he is, which he isn't, of course, that would be more than welcome, and it could definitely help to, kind of destroy the perceptions that many Russians probably still have of him.
Thank you very much, Floris.